Schumer needs to end this shutdown.
At midnight, the federal government officially shut down.
We're in the middle of the Schumer shutdown.
To shut down the United States government.
Today is day one of the Republican shutdown.
In a government shutdown that Democrats wanted.
This government shutdown is no doubt going to impact everyday Americans.
It's Wednesday, October 1st, and this morning a majority of Americans blaming Democrats for causing the shutdown. Polling from the New York Times shows 65% of Americans did not want Democrats to cause a shutdown, even if their demands were not met. We want to get right to Mark Boyle at the live desk with the breaking details for us right now. It's going to be an interesting morning. We know they're going to try it again today.
It's important for viewers at home to realize, though, they're going to try it again, but the verbiage, the wording is not changing, so the chances of it getting the votes needed, Jan, unlikely. The Republicans say they're not willing to change the current proposal. It's on the table, while Democrats won't vote for the bill unless it includes a measure to boost health care funding. So it appears that showdown on Capitol Hill will stretch on. Here's a list this morning of what is closed across the country, all because of this shutdown. The Smithsonian Museums and the zoo. The zoo actually still open for a few more days. Next week, we would see that closure if this goes on. National Park Services, loan and grant services. Now, while these are the areas closed, here's what is staying open or workers going to work. Air traffic controllers, TSA workers will be screening your luggage if you're headed out to the airport today or this weekend. USPS services, passport renewal, Social Security and VA benefits, and the national parks, again, staying open, but the paychecks won't be flowing for the time being. The Congressional Budget Office estimates about 750,000 federal workers face furloughs right now.
The truth is very simple, and it's easy to articulate. I'll just point out that today we're here on the west front of the Capitol. We're overlooking the National Mall. It's a beautiful sight that a lot of the American people will not be able to experience today. On a normal day, of course, you have tens of thousands of visitors here, family, you have school groups that come and visit. They walk these grounds. We have about 7,000 people who visit this Capitol each and every day. But today that's not going to be the case. Today, America's boys and girls will walk up to these doors and they'll see something different, a sign that says closed until further notice. And that's because at midnight, the Democrats followed through on their threat to shut down the United States government. As we speak here this morning, there are hundreds of thousands of federal workers who are getting their furlough notices. Nearly half of our civilian workforce is being sent home. These are hardworking Americans who work for our federal government. Our troops and our Border Patrol agents will have to go to work, but they'll be working without pay. Food assistance, veterans benefits, and vital support for women and children are all coming to a halt. Now, thankfully, President Trump is trying to mitigate the damage as much as possible. His administration is working to limit the harm to the American people. But the longer this goes on, the more pain will be inflicted because it is inevitable when the government shuts down. The sad thing about it is that every single bit of this was entirely avoidable.
At midnight, the federal government officially shut down because Republicans failed to fix the healthcare crisis that they've created. This is a sad, serious, and somber moment for the country. Americans are already facing a dual affordability and healthcare crisis thanks to Donald Trump's tariffs and Republicans' big ugly law. And now, because Republicans refuse to come to the table and negotiate with Democrats, Americans can suffer even more. We were elected to solve the problems of this country, not make them worse. And that's exactly what Donald Trump and his Republican henchmen are seeking to do. From the beginning of the Trump administration, Republicans have shown us that they have made their priorities clear. First, their signature legislative achievement. Republicans passed the largest cut of health care in American history, all to provide a tax benefit to corporations and billionaires. I wish that it was an exaggeration, but it's the truth. Democrats didn't greenlight this cruel, costly healthcare cuts, and now we continue to stand against them. Preserving and expanding access to quality, affordable care has always been House Democrats' top priority. It should come as no surprise to Republicans that we wouldn't support their agenda that dismantles healthcare, makes it more expensive, and puts it out of reach for hardworking families. That's why we've done everything in our power to give Republicans the opportunity to do the right thing.
Fortunately, we are here this morning in in a government shutdown that Democrats wanted. Chuck Schumer, at the behest of a bunch of liberal, far-left activist groups, has walked his Democrat colleagues into a boxed canyon. There's no way out, folks. There's no way out. This could have been avoided. It's totally unavoidable. And everybody's now asking the question, how does this end? Well, it ends when the Senate Democrats pick this bill up, passed by the House of Representatives, and vote for it. 24 pages to fund the government. Nothing more, nothing less, nothing else. The House kept it simple. We kept it simple in the Senate. This is something, as the Speaker noted, that 13 times in the past Senate Democrats have done when they were in the majority and Joe Biden was in the White House.
Republicans control the White House, the Senate, and the House. Democrats are here working on behalf of the American people. We're fighting to lower costs, cancel the cuts, and to save health care. And we're House Republicans. They are on vacation. We are asking Speaker Johnson to bring back House Republicans right now so we can work together to not have this government shutdown. It is now a very bad time to have a government shutdown because we are in a very bad economy.
On this vote, the yeas are 55 and the nays are 45. 3/5 of the Senate duly chosen and sworn not having voted in the affirmation. The motion is not agreed to.
Democrats in Congress have officially shut down the United States government. House Republicans passed a nonpartisan, clean piece of legislation to extend current government funding until November 21st. But nearly every single Democrat senator voted against this bill. To be clear, this was the exact same bill that Democrats approved 6 short months ago in March, just adjusted for inflation. This is the same kind of clean funding bill that Democrats passed 13 separate times when they held the majority during Joe Biden's administration. I just want to make sure the American public understand what the Democrats have done to our government and our country. 1.3 million active duty troops will work now without pay. Critical food assistance for low-income women, infants, and children will now lapse. No new mothers or children are allowed to join this critical program because of the Democrats' decision to shut down the government. Telehealth services for seniors and in-home treatment options for Medicare patients will now come to an end. Nearly 50,000 members of the United States Coast Guard are going to have to work unpaid. Over 13,000 air traffic controllers will work without pay, as well as TSA agents, which will very likely create flight disruptions. And pay will now stop for over 150,000 federal law enforcement officers. These are not just numbers and statistics. These are real Americans who have families at home.
We've heard them say you don't shut the government down over policy disagreement. Okay, Republicans think this thing about healthcare, that thing about healthcare. Democrats think this thing about immigration, Republicans disagree. Whatever those disagreements are, you don't shut down the government over it. For the first time since the Democrats have been in politics, they're now saying that unless we get every policy item that we demand, we're going to shut down the people's government. They're trying to take a hostage, and we're not going to let them. We need to reopen the government. Let's fix America's problems. Let's work together to solve them. But let's reopen the government before we have our negotiation about healthcare policy. That's what the American people demand, and that's certainly what the President of the United States wants. Let me make one final point. I think a lot of Americans are asking themselves, why did this happen? Why did the Democrats shut down the government despite, as Caroline said, voting on the exact same piece of legislation 6 months ago? And there are a lot of different spins that we can put on it, a lot of different answers that we could give, all of them true. One answer I already gave is that they want to give health care benefits to illegal aliens. That is true. They gave us legislative text that would have undone us cutting off health care benefits for illegal aliens. That's one of the things that they asked for. But the reality here, and let's be honest about the politics, is that Chuck Schumer is terrified she's going to get a primary challenge from Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. The reason why the American people's government is shut down is because Chuck Schumer is listening to the far left radicals in his own party because he's terrified of a primary challenge. So I'd invite Chuck Schumer to join the moderate Democrats and 52 Senate Republicans. Do the right thing, open up the people's government, and then let's fix healthcare policy for the American people.